exists in a world beyond your world. We only fantasize. He does. He lives a life where nothing is beyond him.
Chapter 14. Dark Machine. Cross forced himself to gather his faculties and think, but the urge to flee was too high. Cross knew that if the drone had locked onto him, there would be very little likelihood of escaping the eye in the sky, but still, he ran. There was a chance that the hovering hunter hadn't picked up his scent. There was a chance that its pattern of life algorithms hadn't identified Cross in the crowd yet. There was a chance that anyone watching its video feed hadn't yet recognised Cross. With all the advancements in artificial intelligence software, Cross knew there was still no equal to the human eye and to an analyst's ability to discern patterns in randomness. He wished now that he hadn't run from the tower. His rapid movement through the masses at the park would stand out to anyone reviewing the footage leading up to this present time. He figured that only a few minutes had passed since the thugs had reported his evasion at the old ArcelorMittal orbit tower, beckoning the aerial wolf's appearance. Cross realised their true role for EV3 was less security guard and more likely akin to the US Army's Roswell firemen. They were the ex-military mercenaries that supported EV3's lone Centuri. He knew he would be no match against their combat training. The urgency to avoid a hand-to-hand engagement compelled him to advance. Cross hoped he had shaken them from his trail, but now he had an even more formidable adversary giving chase. The scenario felt like a checkmate. He crossed Westfield Avenue as he stared at the Centuri saucer above him. He was retracing his steps back to Stratford Station, the same way he had come earlier. He was on autopilot while he tried to formulate a plan of action. He knew the surveillance craft was here for him. It had been the Centuri from the hangar at EV3. He was astonished that EV3 had deployed such a resource to pursue him. Kane's threats were far from idle. If it wasn't made clear by Dante's pursuit of Cross, it was clear now. Kane would stop at nothing to ensure Cross was apprehended. Kane wanted his secret known to no one outside of his sphere of control. Cross was in disbelief that Kane would send the craft in broad daylight and over a civilian area. Things were most certainly different here in the UK. Citizens in the UK were accustomed to the prevalence of public cameras. Here, cameras were at every intersection, at every shopping complex. There was probably even ubiquitous coverage in the public transit system. But did Kane and EV3 have access to those video feeds? Maybe not. Why else deploy the aircraft? US law guarded against citizen surveillance and the use of military assets domestically, but he wasn't in the US, and EV3 wasn't the military. Whether Kane was acting on his own or in conjunction with the MOD, Cross was sure that Kane had the influence to broker any deal that was necessary for approval or to seek forgiveness after the fact. Kane would be exonerated or celebrated for using the aircraft for hunting Cross. Like his expensive toy, Kane was a driven, unflinching, calculating machine.
Now available on audiobook and everywhere books are sold.